Welcome to our channel, The Cyber Brief. Here you will find 60 essential cybersecurity questions and answers, from beginner to advanced. One question per slide. 1. What is cybersecurity, and why is it important? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting computers, networks, applications, and data from attacks, unauthorized access, theft, and damage. It is important because individuals and organizations depend heavily on digital systems. 2. What is a hacker, and what are white hat, black hat, and gray hat hackers? A hacker is someone who uses technical knowledge to explore or access computer systems. White hat hackers work legally to improve security. Black hat hackers attack systems for malicious purposes. Gray hat hackers may test systems without permission, even when they do not intend to cause harm. 3. What is a cyber attack, and what are its common goals? A cyber attack is an attempt to gain unauthorized access, steal information, damage systems, interrupt operations, or make money through fraud or extortion. 4. What is malware, and what are its main types? Malware is malicious software designed to harm systems or users. Common types include viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, spyware, and adware. 5. What is the difference between a virus, worm, and trojan? A virus attaches itself to files and spreads when the file runs. A worm spreads automatically across networks. A Trojan pretends to be a legitimate application while performing malicious actions. 6. What are ransomware, spyware, and adware? Ransomware locks or encrypts data and demands payment. Spyware secretly monitors users and steals information. Adware displays unwanted advertisements and may track user behavior. 7. What are phishing, smishing, and vishing? Phishing uses deceptive emails or websites. Smishing uses text messages. Vishing uses phone calls or voice messages to trick victims into revealing sensitive information. 8. What is social engineering, and why is it effective? Social engineering manipulates people into revealing information or bypassing security controls. It is effective because attackers exploit trust, fear, urgency, and curiosity. 9. What makes a password strong and secure? A strong password is long, unique, difficult to guess, and not based on personal information. A passphrase made of several unrelated words is often easier to remember and harder to crack. 10. Why should users avoid password reuse? When the same password is used across multiple accounts, one data breach may allow attackers to access several services. 11. What is a password manager, and why should you use one? A password manager securely stores passwords and creates strong, unique credentials for each account. 12. What are 2FA, MFA, and biometric authentication? Two-factor authentication uses exactly two verification factors. Multi-factor authentication uses two or more. Biometric authentication uses fingerprints, facial recognition, voice, or iris scans. 13. Why are patches and security updates important? Patches and updates fix software bugs and known vulnerabilities that attackers may exploit. 14. What is antivirus software, and what can it detect? Antivirus software detects, blocks, and removes known or suspicious malware. However, it may not stop every advanced or newly developed threat. 15. What is a firewall, and how does it protect the network? A firewall monitors incoming and outgoing traffic and allows or blocks connections based on security rules. 16. What are EDR and XDR, and how are they different? EDR monitors and responds to threats on endpoints such as computers and servers. XDR combines information from endpoints, email, identity, network, and cloud systems. 17. What are SIEM and SOC? A SIEM collects and analyzes security logs. A Security Operations Center, or SOC, is the team responsible for monitoring, investigating, and responding to security threats. 18. What does a SOC analyst do? A SOC analyst reviews alerts, investigates suspicious activities, identifies threats, documents findings, and helps contain security incidents. 19. What are logs, alerts, and incidents? Logs are records of system activity. Alerts are notifications about possible threats. Incidents are confirmed security events that require investigation or response. 20. What are false positives and false negatives? A false positive occurs when safe activity is incorrectly identified as malicious. A false negative occurs when a real threat is not detected. 21. What is an IP address, and what is the difference between public and private IP addresses? An IP address identifies a device on a network. Public IP addresses are visible on the internet, while private IP addresses are used inside local networks. 22. What are DNS and DHCP? DNS translates domain names into IP addresses. DHCP automatically assigns IP addresses and network settings to devices. 23. What is a MAC address and how is it different from an IP address? A MAC address identifies a network interface, while an IP address identifies a device's location on a network. 24. What is a network port? A network port is a logical communication point used by applications and services to send and receive traffic. 25. What are the default ports for HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, and RDP? HTTP uses port 80, HTTPS uses port 443, SSH uses port 22, and RDP commonly uses port 3389. 26. What is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? HTTP sends data without encryption. HTTPS uses TLS encryption to protect information while it travels across a network. 27. What are VPNs and proxy servers? A VPN creates an encrypted connection between a device and a remote server. A proxy routes traffic through an intermediary server but may not encrypt it. 28. What is the difference between a VPN and a proxy? A VPN usually encrypts all or most device traffic. A proxy usually handles traffic from a specific application and may provide no encryption. 29. What are encryption and decryption? Encryption converts readable data into an unreadable format. Decryption restores encrypted data using the correct key. 30. What are hashing and salting? Hashing converts data into a fixed-length one-way value. Salting adds random data before hashing to make password attacks more difficult. 31. What is the difference between encryption and hashing? Encryption is reversible with the correct key. Hashing is designed to be one-way and is commonly used to verify data or protect passwords. 32. What are brute force and dictionary attacks? A brute force attack tests many possible password combinations. A dictionary attack uses lists of common words and passwords. 33. What are credential stuffing and password spraying? Credential stuffing uses stolen username and password combinations on other websites. Password spraying tests a few common passwords against many accounts. 34. What is the principle of least privilege? Least privilege means giving users and systems only the permissions required to complete their tasks. 35. What is zero trust? Zero Trust is a security model based on the idea of never trust, always verify. Every user, device, and access request must be validated. 36. What is the CIA triad? The CIA triad consists of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. 37. What do confidentiality, integrity, and availability mean? Confidentiality protects data from unauthorized access. Integrity protects data from unauthorized changes. Availability ensures systems remain accessible when needed. 38. What are vulnerabilities, exploits, and payloads? A vulnerability is a weakness. An exploit is a method used to take advantage of that weakness. A payload is the code or command executed after successful exploitation. 39. What is a zero-day vulnerability? A zero-day is a newly discovered vulnerability that may not yet have a patch or reliable defense. 40. What are CVE and CVSS? CVE provides unique identifiers for publicly known vulnerabilities. CVSS gives vulnerabilities severity scores based on their characteristics and impact. 41. What is vulnerability scanning? Vulnerability scanning uses automated tools to identify known weaknesses, missing patches, and insecure configurations. 42. What is penetration testing? Penetration testing is an authorized simulation of real attacks to determine whether vulnerabilities can actually be exploited. 43. What is the difference between vulnerability scanning and penetration testing? Scanning identifies possible weaknesses automatically. Penetration testing validates and exploits selected weaknesses in a controlled environment. 44. What are IDS and IPS? An IDS detects suspicious activity and generates alerts. An IPS detects suspicious activity and can automatically block it. 45. What is a DDoS attack and what is a botnet? A DDoS attack overwhelms a system with traffic. A botnet is a group of compromised devices that attackers may use to generate that traffic. 46. What is a man-in-the-middle attack? A man-in-the-middle attack occurs when an attacker secretly intercepts or modifies communication between two parties. 47. What are SQL injection and command injection? SQL injection sends malicious database commands through an application. Command injection allows attackers to execute operating system commands through vulnerable input fields. 48. What are cross-site scripting and CSRF? Cross-site scripting injects malicious scripts into websites. CSRF tricks an authenticated user's browser into performing an unwanted action. 49. What are directory traversal and file inclusion attacks? Directory traversal attempts to access files outside an approved directory. File inclusion tricks an application into loading unauthorized local or remote files. 50. What are privilege escalation and lateral movement? Privilege escalation gives an attacker higher permissions. Lateral movement allows the attacker to move from one compromised system to other systems in the network. 51. What are persistence and data exfiltration? Persistence allows attackers to maintain long-term access. Data exfiltration is the unauthorized transfer of information outside an organization. 52. What are IOC and IOA? An indicator of compromise is evidence that a breach may have occurred, such as a malicious file hash or IP address. An indicator of attack focuses on suspicious behavior suggesting an active attack. 53. What is threat intelligence? Threat intelligence is analyzed information about attackers, malware, vulnerabilities, attack methods, and malicious infrastructure. 54. What are TTPs in cybersecurity? TTPs stand for Tactics, Techniques, and Procedures. They describe the goals, methods, and detailed actions used by attackers. 55. What is MITRE ATT&CK? MITRE ATT&CK is a knowledge base that organizes attacker tactics and techniques based on real-world observations. 56. What is the cyber kill chain? The cyber kill chain divides an attack into reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. 57. What is incident response? Incident response is the structured process used to detect, investigate, contain, remove, and recover from security incidents. 58. What are the main incident response phases? The main phases are preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident review. 59. What are containment, eradication, and recovery? Containment limits the attack. Eradication removes malware and attacker access. Recovery restores systems safely to normal operations. 60. What is threat hunting? Threat hunting is the proactive search for hidden threats that have not yet triggered security alerts.